Here are some of the worst episodes of the latest seasons. In the star of the Backstage, Marge becomes a stage manager and somehow makes enemies along the way. It starts with the Simpsons family at the funeral of Marge's high school theater teacher, which makes her reminisce about her high school stage play. And I'm sure you easily guessed that the play was about Y2K. But Marge wasn't an actress herself. She was the stage manager running things behind the scenes. So Mr. Chase's widow gives her her old prompt book from the play, having found it after his death, and inspires Marge to stage a revival of the play, featuring Disney princess voice Marge. Meta, I know.
Places everybody, it's time to start the show!
Before rehearsal for the play can get started, Helen Lovejoy says they can't start without Sasha Reed, the star of the original play. But Marge says she never heard back from Sasha and figures they'll have to go on without her. This, of course, is when Sasha dramatically enters the scene to sing.
And that's how Sasha became a massive success!
She seems to have become way more successful as a Broadway star since leaving Springfield. While everyone else goes crazy over Sasha, Marge desperately tries to keep the cast on schedule, only for Sasha to keep pushing her out of all the group bonding moments. Marge even finds a box of memories from the old days, but this just leads the others to sing a number about all the fond memories Marge missed out on because she wasn't an actor like them. Including Homer, even though he wasn't even part of the original play.
I was at that super killer party too!
You weren't even in the show!
Realizing that the cast didn't actually see her as a friend like she thought, Marge returns to her mom's house, crying over how the play's revival has been ruined for her. It's here that Marge realizes this is all Sasha's fault. So, Marge decides to get even with her. After looking up dirt on Sasha using her mother's ancient computer, Marge reveals the truth to the play's cast the following day, that Sasha lied about being a big-shot Broadway success, and that she's nothing more than a fraud. And she gets in touch with her wicked side while she does it.
Phony, a fake, she ain't got what it takes.
When Sasha runs out of the theater in tears, Marge thinks that they can finally come together as a theater family like she's wanted this whole time. But everyone says that without Sasha, there can't be a show. Marge is still annoyed that nobody sided with her the next morning, so Homer sings a song about using a delicate approach to help Marge reluctantly realize that she was wrong. So Marge decides she has to make things right and tracks down Sasha at Moe's before she leaves town so she can apologize.
Once my husband sang and danced to me about what I did, I felt terrible.
Realizing that they both said some things they shouldn't have, the two quickly make up. And when Homer brings the rest of the cast over, they all soon agree that the show must go on. And this is when we reach the big night of the show. Funny enough, the part of the episode that's actually about the musical doesn't feature any singing, because the focus isn't on the play, but on Marge doing her duties as stage manager to make sure that the whole show runs smoothly. Too bad Bart and Lisa weren't fans of the performance.
So the show just ends? What a cop-out!
After the show, Marge is left to clean up while Sasha signs dozens of autographs. But Marge is pleasantly surprised when two teens tell her she's a stage managing icon. The episode ends with Marge finally getting to experience one of the moments she's originally missed out on when the teens invite her to the diner to share stage manager stories, while Homer and the others throw a party without Marge, because some things just never change. If you thought Marge being a stage managing icon was bad enough, wait till you hear about this next episode where Bart becomes a feminist. In this episode, Itchy and Scratchy become women, and Bart boycotts the show until he meets 3 schoolgirls. Next up is Season 30's Bart vs. Itchy and Scratchy, where Krusty the Clown reveals to the world a brand new, all-female reboot of the beloved Itchy and Scratchy cartoon during a fan panel at KrustyCon. And the overarching meta-joke of this episode's plot is made clear right out of the gate.
Girl, Itchy and Scratchy? No, this can't be. They've ruined my childhood.
All the boys in the crowd boo the reveal, while the girls cheer. In response to the all-female reboot, Bart stages a hate-not-watch party where he and some other boys turn off the TV until the cartoon's premiere is over. But at the same time, Lisa films her reaction to this historic moment in cartoon women's history up in her room. When Bart goes to investigate after hearing the TV upstairs, he laughs along with Lisa at the over-the-top violence.
I wasn't laughing. I was crying and burping.
Then, after Bart lies to the other boys about not watching the cartoon along with them, Lisa decides to upload the video of Bart laughing at the female Itchy and Scratchy cartoon online, because this is still a boys versus girls episode. With Bart's lie being exposed on the internet, Lisa further mocks him online at school the next day with a line that totally didn't annoy a bunch of people.
Well, Bart, how does it feel to be trolled, memed, jiffed, and dare I say,
postponed.
Bart is then confronted by the other boys for betraying them, who then chase him through the school, forcing him to hide inside a girl's bathroom to avoid getting beat up, only for Bart to run into 3 6th grader girls who start bullying him instead. You can tell this is a later season just on their character designs alone. But when one of the girls drops their spray paint cans and reveals a plan to prank Principal Skinner, Bart suggests using a leaf blower to make an even bigger mess. After the prank, Bart follows the girls to their hideout and asks to join their gang, and they agree after some on-the-nose gags about gender equality.
Look at this history book.
Cool shades.
Later, Milhouse and the boys form a group to stand up to all things girly called the Boys' Rights Association. Do you get it? It's pretty hard not to.
We are bras! We are bras!
Bart and the girls go on a massive female-focused prank spree around town to the point where their group, Bossy Riot, is even reported about on the news. Lisa loves their message of female empowerment, but when Bart reveals that he's also in the group, she berates him for only being interested in pranking people instead of actually caring about feminism.
Why does every discussion about feminism turn into an argument about Star Wars?
Bart calls out Lisa for being all talk and leaves to meet up at the hideout. Once there, they tell Bart that the boys have successfully gotten Krusty to cave and never show the girl Itchy and Scratchy cartoon again. In response, the girls plan on destroying the master tapes of every Itchy and Scratchy cartoon and tie up Bart with knitting yarn when he tries to stop them. Lisa soon tracks Bart down and the two race to Krusty's show, where the girls plan on destroying the tapes on live TV by dropping them in a vat of boiling nail polish remover. And they even manage to squeeze in a quick mansplaining joke while we're here.
No. If I keep talking, they'll get it eventually.
Lisa saves the day by kicking the nail polish out of the way of the falling tapes, but the Bossy Riot girls are still satisfied by the nail polish spilling and causing all of the boys in the crowd to cry on live TV. The episode ends when Bossy Riot invites Lisa to join them for making all the boys cry on TV, and she rides off into the night with them. For some reason, they do a Jason Bourne joke by playing Extreme Ways by Moby as they ride off. I mean, Lisa telling Bart he can't be a feminist just defeats the point of a feminist, doesn't it? With a 5.1 out of 10, we move on to another low-rated episode where Homer becomes hated in the town of Springfield by a specific fan base. Fally Feud kind of blends together the plots of the last 2 episodes on the list, as here we see Homer unwittingly get himself into a feud with a pop music icon after he publicly shames her and her fan base isn't happy. But don't worry, this episode only has a couple of musical segments in it. When Homer and Bart go to a baseball game, specifically just to see a certain pitcher knock other players unconscious with baseballs, they're surprised to find the entire stadium filled with girls. They soon discover this is because pop idol Ashley Starling is dropping a new album during the game, causing her fans to ruin the game for the two Simpsons.
Stop this stupid, well-planned thing!
As the two are leaving, Kent Brockman asks if they're a part of Ashley's fan base on camera, and when Homer says that he finds Ashley annoying, using Bart's words, of course, Bart tells Homer that he's made himself a target of Ashley's fan base, the Murmur Nation, by insulting her.
I am looking into the eyes of a dead man.
Over the next few days, Homer suffers through multiple pranks courtesy of Ashley's fan base. After a flock of birds steals all of Homer's snack foods from a vending machine, it's revealed that the one orchestrating all of these attacks against Homer is none other than Lisa. Shocking, I know. Soon enough, Homer is then kidnapped by a fake-out burger food truck and is taken to a music studio. But, to his surprise, he wasn't taken by Ashley, but rather by her professional megastar music rival, Echo.
Echo? I had my name legally changed to do that.
Echo feels sympathy for Homer being targeted by Ashley's fans, so she decides to help Homer get even with their mutual rival, and makes you wish random slobbish fat guys could be so lucky in real life. Bart soon realizes that Lisa is pranking their dad, and since Bart loves to prank their dad, he agrees to help her out. But things go quickly wrong when they try to prank Homer at a bowling alley, only for Echo to reveal that Homer is now under her fan army's protection. The other kids in the Murmur Nation think about backing down, but Lisa refuses, and instead inspires the rest to turn up the heat on this musical rivalry, and Bart is all too happy to add fuel to the fire.
You psychos heard my sister? It's war!
Multiple pranks later, Kent Brockman gets Marge to comment that she thinks Ashley's music is great after listening to one of her songs. This leads Ashley Starling to send a dinner invitation to the Simpson house, courtesy of two flamboyant muscle men. Lisa mistakenly thinks the invitation is for her, but it's actually for Marge after what she said to Kent. Soon enough, Ashley arrives in a helicopter to pick up Marge for their girls' night out. But in yet another twist, Ashley only went to Marge to get her to reveal embarrassing things about Homer to further fuel fuel the rivalry, and she does this by getting Marge drunk, which is probably the most messed up thing we've seen here so far. The next morning during dinner, Homer learns the truth that Lisa and Bart have both been working together to prank him during the fan war. When Marge chastises this, Lisa shows the family that Ashley has dropped a new Bad Boyfriend song all about Marge and Homer's relationship using what she learned last night.
You kept insisting that the moon was just the sun at night.
Realizing that everyone in the family has betrayed him, Homer decides to leave and goes to Echo to vent his frustrations. Homer suggests releasing a diss track of his own, but Echo has a better idea.
Why don't we make a video that tells your family how much they hurt you? And I've been dissed track.
After 3 days, Homer returns home to show his family the new music video, showing him forgiving his family, along with some surprisingly heartfelt visuals using clips from older episodes of the series. The episode ends with the fan war finally being called off, and a joke about Lisa regretting getting swallowed up in groupthink before the family panics as they realize they're late for church. If only Jesus had a pop music album, eh? If you thought that was bad, this next one focuses on Marge trying to find a hobby when she realizes she is boring. After being viewed as a boring housewife, Marge takes up lumberjacking as a fun sport until she meets another man that Homer is worried about. Marge the Lumberjill starts with a school play from Lisa showcasing the daily life of the Simpson household, causing Marge to realize people only see her as a boring housewife.
I converted 4 soap slivers into practically a new bar.
Marge tries to prove she's not boring by doing a fun Bible reading at church. Unfortunately, this goes over about as well as you'd expect.
You need this more than we do, lady.
Marge is so demoralized that she doesn't even react when a tree falls on the family's car during a thunderstorm. Later, when Homer tries to chop up the fallen tree, giving up after only 3 tries, Marge takes out her frustrations by chopping it up instead. Seeing that Marge has a gift for chopping wood, her sister Patty introduces her to her friend Paula, a top-level timber sports competitor. Paula takes Marge out into the wilderness to hone her woodcutting skills, and after a quick training montage, we see Marge enter a timber sports competition featuring a timely Mitch McConnell joke, because bringing up politicians is still funny, right?
Where'd you read that? My new 4th grade science book.
Marge swiftly wins the competition and celebrates with Paula, while Patty decides now's the time to mention that Paula is gay. Of course, Homer wonders if he should be worried. Afterward, Paula asks Marge if she'll be her partner in an upcoming event, which requires them to train in Portland for a month. Marge doesn't want to leave her family behind, but at the same time, she doesn't want people to see her as boring anymore. And Homer only makes the decision to leave easier for her by saying something stupid because it's Homer.
She might leave and never come back. Just like the McRib!
A month passes and the rest of the Simpsons family flies to Portland to meet up with Marge. Homer tries to keep calm as he hopes to win Marge back, but this worry only increases when they arrive and see that Marge and Paula are fostering pugs. Homer expresses his worry that Marge has settled in too deep with Paula.
You're married in the 2 most important ways there are, emotionally and cooking.
Of course, Marge is upset by Homer's jealousy. When Marge says she might stay in Portland if they win the upcoming competition, Homer sulks his way to a craft beer bar, but only so they can riff on Portland some more.
Sitting in a bar and my wife's in love with a female lumberjack.
Classic Portland.
The competition arrives, where Paula and Marge compete to saw a giant log in half with a giant 2-person buck saw. It's here that Homer decides to fully support the woman he loves, even if he thinks he's lost her.
Our love is like an old tree. If you cut it down, it grows back stronger.
That's not how trees work.
Paula and Marge manage to win the championship, and as Marge celebrates with the kids, Homer tells Paula that she's won. But Paula reveals that she's not interested in Marge at all. In fact, she already has a wife, an Olympic athlete wife. Talk about a power couple. Then, after a quick joke about Homer donating sperm, because, again, lesbian wives and all that.
Instead of sperm, would you like semen?
They're the same thing.
They are. Uh-oh.
Marge agrees to come home with the rest of her family, both because she misses them and because we gotta keep the status quo going. The episode ends with Homer gifting Maggie an adorable toy chainsaw to help her always be strong, and Grandpa being, well, Grandpa.
Ah, her baby head fell out.
Is that over? Yes, I think it's over, but in this next one, the roles have reversed, when Homer is won over by a British woman. Is this the episode where Homer actually leaves Marge for another woman? Let's find out. The 7-beer itch revolves around a British femme fatale named Lily, who effortlessly leaves every man she meets swooning for her because she knows how to make life fun. But she's never satisfied with the men who beg for her attention. Not even big-shot movie stars like Leonardo DiCaprio though, are enough for her.
You'll have to content yourself with generic supermodels, I'm afraid.
Needing to get away from all this unwanted attention, Lily throws a dart at a map to choose her destination, which obviously lands on Springfield. When she arrives and finds herself at Moe's, she once again immediately begins to brighten the day of everyone around her. Oh, and by the way, Groundskeeper Willie is narrating the story because, of course, he's also from the UK.
Haven't you heard enough about the bloody Simpsons to last 1,000 lifetimes? No, I guess not.
The Simpsons family reveals to Homer that they're leaving for a 3-week rent-free vacation to Marge's aunt's house, but only on the condition that Homer can't come with them.
Don't!
After the family leaves, Homer goes to Moe's to drown his sorrows in booze, like usual. Lily is immediately fascinated that Homer isn't falling head over heels for her like every other man she's met. When Homer explains the situation, Lily tells Homer that he needs to have fun while they're gone, otherwise his family will feel bad for making him miserable. Speaking of being miserable, the family's vacation is off to a rough start.
More deer!
While every other guy in Moe's is focused on Lily, Homer sadly looks at family photos on his phone. So Lily comforts him by singing in German.
This is like that beautiful scene in Sound of Music with all the Nazis saying goodnight.
But Homer brushes her off to watch the football game on TV instead, causing Lily to run outside crying. When Barney asks what's wrong, she admits that between Homer's misery and how little he cares for her, she's fallen in love with him. Isn't that a bit soon? Lily continues trying to woo Homer, but when she brings picnic lunches to Homer's work, she catches the eye of Mr. Burns, who decides to use Homer to trick Lily into going on a date with him, even though Smithers realizes this is a bad idea.
Sir, we've been through this before with several women and one very shapely tree.
After multiple unpleasant moments, Marge decides to end their seaside vacation early, when a bunch of tourists nearly run her over with mopeds, which, yeah, that's fair enough. In Springfield, Mr. Burns successfully uses Homer to trick Lily into a dinner date on his yacht. Lily at least convinces Mr. Burns to keep Homer around as a chaperone, and as this date goes on, Homer realizes how bad he feels for tricking Lily. So, Homer agrees to take Lily home after one last romantic gesture from Burns.
You and me and my cardiologist make 3.
As Homer walks Lily to her front door, he tries to explain how much he still loves Marge, but Lily leans in and kisses him anyway. Later, as Homer desperately tries to avoid dreaming about Lily, he's surprised when Marge arrives home early. But then Lily calls and tries to tempt Homer to his house, desperate to see him again. And while Homer does go all the way to Lily's front porch as she serenades him,
La la la.
Homer finally comes to his senses as he remembers that Marge is his one and only soulmate.
La la la.
So, Homer races home and promises to Marge that he will never, ever leave her. Thanks for clarifying that, Homer. The episode ends with a heartbroken Lily returning home to England, depressed that she'll never meet another man like Homer, only for Lily to then inexplicably meet a man who looks exactly like Homer but with a mustache and happily walks away with him. There must be something about Homer, but I don't see it. And there we have some of the lowest rated episodes from the later seasons. Like and subscribe for more like this.